Hey guys, it's Angie from TwinFinity. I know it's been a while. I don't know if you can see from my eyes and my face, but I have been exhausted. I know a lot of us have been. Huge amount of light codes coming through. In fact, I plan to share some pictures I've been taking of like the energies coming in. Just crazy. But even though I'm exhausted and haven't been doing videos either by myself or with Rob, we're still hoping to do more of your questions in another question and answer video soon. Our good old proverbial soon. But anyway, I just felt really inspired to come on and share this video with you because I've had so many questions about this lately. Telepathy. People asking, how do I know if it's really telepathy? How do I know if the message is really real? How do I know if it's really from my twin or I'm just making it all up in my head? So because I've experienced telepathy and now I actually consciously practice it and have for years now, I have some suggestions, some thoughts, some answers for you. So first of all, let me just share for those of you that might not remember our story or might not remember my experience with telepathy. When mine first started, it was when Rob and I were just starting to reconnect as friends back in, I think it was like 2012. And I remember I was just sitting on the couch with, believe it or not, my karmic partner at the time. We were already like starting to end our relationship. So we were just like sitting on opposite ends of the couch, not even like physically together, just sitting there as friends watching a movie. And all of a sudden, just in the middle of the movie, doesn't relate to anything going on in the movie. I hear this in my head. I really want to be with you, but I feel inadequate to you spiritually. And I'm just like, what? What is this? So then Rob starts explaining. It was Rob, and he starts explaining what, I'm just literally having a conversation with him in my head. He's explaining what he's feeling, what's going on with him. And it's not like he said, this is Rob, this is what I'm feeling, or it was just, it's hard to even explain how telepathy works. It's just so natural, though. When you experience it for the first time, you'll probably go, oh, that's telepathy. Okay, I got it. So yeah, for me, it was just this neat kind of connection with him. And I literally just started having a conversation with him in my head. It just felt natural to do. So I just knew it was him by the energy. It wasn't, it's not like I could hear his voice specifically. It's not like he said, this is Rob, nothing like that. I just intellectually, not more like intellectual, but more spiritually knew that it was him. And I just had a conversation and I was like, what do you mean you feel inadequate? Like you're just as spiritual as I am. Like, I don't understand. He's like, yeah, but you do all these things and you can communicate with the other side and you're a medium and I don't do any of that. And I'm like, so we all have different gifts, like whatever. Anyway, that the point of the conversation isn't what's important. What's important is to, number one, when you experience telepathy, to recognize that it is telepathy, that you're not making it up, because our ego, that's where that belief comes from, is our ego wants us to think we've made it all up and we're crazy. And so it's learning to move past the ego's opinion and trust your own soul, trust your higher self, trust your higher knowing. The more you do that, the easier telepathy gets. When you can just let go of the thoughts, the beliefs, the doubts, the insecurities, and just go, okay, this is telepathy. Cool, I have the ability. Because guess what? We all have the ability. Telepathy is actually incredibly natural and normal. On the other side, in spirit, that's how we all speak. So we can do it here. We're tapping more and more into our fifth dimensional abilities. So it's absolutely natural to do it. So first step is just recognize it. Go, telepathy, cool. Second step is don't doubt it. Like we are just saying, your ego is going to try and make you and convince you to think that you've made this all up. You haven't. Third step is to recognize that you haven't made it up, because what comes through is usually not what your mind would think of anyway. Your mind, like, there's no way my mind would have thought Rob would be talking to me in my head saying, I can't be with you because I don't feel as advanced as you. My mind would never make that up. If anything, my mind would think it was the other way around back then. So that's another way to know that it's telepathy, is by what comes through. When it comes either as knowledge that you would not know or think of yourself, If it comes in an energy that you wouldn't experience normally or feel normally, that's another way. So pay attention to how it comes to you, what's said, how it's said, how it feels. If it feels warm and fuzzy, if it feels kind, that's usually because, telepathy often comes from the higher realms, which is love. So, even though Rob's stuff was about being insecure and doubtful, it still came in a loving, gentle tone that, was basically saying, you have all these skills, but I don't. So he was expressing insecurity, but it wasn't coming like he wasn't saying anything negative or mean or hurtful, anything like that. It was all in pure love. Another way to recognize telepathy is it doesn't have to come in words. You don't have to hear somebody's voice necessarily in your head. For example, a lot of times communication with our twins and with others can be through songs. A lot of us experience telepathy through music with our twin flames. We'll get a song and it'll instantly pop into our head, or we'll hear it on the radio, and you just get that strong feeling like, this is for me. I got to pay attention to this. And then even if it's a song you don't know, you'll go Google it later, and the words are perfect. They're exactly what you need to hear. They're exactly what is the words, the feelings that are coming through that you already are knowing from your twin. So trust that. And just learn to practice with it. Most people think telepathy is hard, that it takes effort. It's a simple thought. You can think something in your head, and because we're all connected, not just with our twin flame, but everybody, you can send out a thought and that person will receive it. They might not consciously receive it, but they are receiving it. And then if you're in tune, you can hear back from them in whatever way, like we were saying. It can be words in your head, it can be tones, it can be feelings, it can be, heart palpitations, it can be through songs, it can be all sorts of things. Also know, though, too, that just because you're tapped in and you're hearing and you're aware of the telepathy, whoever you're speaking with, whether it's your twin or someone else, they might not consciously be aware of it. Their higher self definitely is, and their higher self is communicating. But if you were to say to them, hey, you just sent me a message telepathically, they might be like, what? I don't think I did. Rob will often say he's still not aware consciously of our telepathic connection and communication, but his higher self is. So don't so much worry if the other person is like, I did not say that. I don't remember saying that at all. They might not just be tuned in, or it's not time for them to be. It might just not be their skill. Remember, as twin flames, often we have one that's the 5D twin flame, or what we call the spiritual one, and one who's meant to be the 3D or the matrix one. You're meant to be that way to help balance each other. If you were both 5D all the time, there would be no balance. You'd both be up in the clouds and nobody would be grounded. So one of you is naturally meant to be more the 3D twin and might not remember this stuff, and that's totally okay. Now, I also wanted to make a point about the fact that so many people think telepathy only happens with your twin flame and your twin flame only. And this, I would actually sometime like to do a whole separate video. I think we do ourselves an injustice by labeling the twin flame connection as the most important, the most sacred, with the most gifts, because we are connected to everybody and everything. And when we limit and put our twin flame in a box or put them on a pedestal and make them the be-all and end-all, that's what causes so much suffering on this journey, because then we think there's nobody else that I can be with but this specific person. So anyway, that's a whole other video that we'll maybe do sometime. My point is, though, telepathy can happen with anybody and everybody. I have not just experienced telepathy with Rob. In fact, I started talking telepathically with people a long time ago because of one of my girlfriends years and years ago, who taught me talk to people's soul. That's how she called it. She didn't call it telepathy. She just said talk to people's soul. Remember, we're all from the same energy. We're all from the same light. So we are all connected in a higher way, and we can communicate with anybody, not just our twin flame, on a telepathic level. For example, just last week, I was up at my desk at my job, and I needed my boss to come up front. I had to show him an email, and it was just too complicated to go back and like tell him what it was. So I needed him to come up front, but I was just so tired, as I still am. So I didn't want to get off my chair, get out of my desk to go talk to him. So I telepathically, I've never done this before with my boss, but I thought, what the heck, let's try it. So I telepathically called him up front. And instantly after I called him up front, I heard him in my head say, I'm just finishing some things up. I'll be up there in a few minutes. Well, literally a few minutes later, he comes up to my desk and he's just staring at me. He doesn't even know why he's here. And I burst out laughing. He's like, what? And I'm like, were you just finishing some things up back there? And he's like, yeah, why? And I said, because I telepathically called you up here, and here you are. And you told me you'd be here very shortly. You were just finishing some things. And of course, my boss is very open to all of this stuff. So he didn't think I was nuts. Or maybe he does think I'm nuts, but that's okay. He knows about twin flames and all that kind of stuff. So what the heck? So now we have this great joke that anytime he shows up front of my desk, it's like, he's like, it's your fault. I'm here because you called me here. So my point is telepathy, connection, thinking of somebody and having them call, all of those things happen with other people, not just our twin flame, because connection is with everybody, not just our twin flame. So that's just a brief little bit about telepathy. If you want to know more, if you have specific questions or anything else, feel free to leave a comment below and I'll be happy to answer. Anyways, we will hopefully be back soon with some videos. We really miss you guys. We've just had so much going on and so much exhaustion. My job has been busier than I think it's ever been in my life. So I've been really full at work, and then also I'm trying to wrap up. I'm the secretary in where we live. We live in kind of like a homeowners association. And I've been the secretary for 7.5 years, and I'm working on training somebody else to take that over because it's just time. I got to get rid of some stuff on my plate. So that's been really full lately. So I've just had lots and lots on the go, on top of being completely exhausted and having technology issues because it's almost like a, what's the word, a retrograde? It's like Mercury retrograde, but not Mercury. It's been a nightmare. I don't know if you are all feeling it too, but it's been fun stuff. A lot of fun stuff. Anyways, all to say, we miss you. We love you. We will be back soon. And hopefully we'll have some more videos out in a little while. Talk to you later. Bye.